Welcome to the channel, viewers. Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. Covert emotional incest and triangulation. Triangulation is probably one of the biggest identifiers of that problem. You'll find that you will be competing with the enmeshed family members, which could be of any several types of combinations: father, daughter, daughter, father, mother, son, son, mother, mother, son, daughter. There can be all sorts of combinations with enmeshment, and the problem that you're going to have if you're an outsider to that tribe or these people is that the DNA will beat you. You'll see the person that you're with struggle to try and overcome the triangulation, but if the family member is persistent and starts to feign sicknesses and put on objections and make conflicts, and they'll feign all sorts of different kinds of behaviour to try and manipulate and control the enmeshed family member, you're not going to be able to compete with that, because it's going to build concern in the person that you're with. It's going to have a severe element of control and manipulation over the person that you're with, because they don't want to lose the supply and the connection that they've been getting. It becomes an addiction. You will then be attacked. You will then be attacked personally and vandalised. They'll go to work on you behind your back. If you were a fly on the wall, you'd be amazed at some of the crap that these people will come up with to try and destroy your credibility. It will be relentless. You won't know the full extent of what's happening behind your back, because the person that you're with will be too embarrassed to let on. It does get very malicious. They'll feign, as I said, even up to suicide. They'll threaten suicide. They'll try and make meetings with the person that you're with when they know that you're coming. They'll interfere in arrangements. They'll come barging into the middle of time that you're spending together. They'll make demands. They'll say something's wrong with this or that. They'll complain about other family members and try and get you entangled into their problems that they're saying about you and stuff. But if you ignore them, something catastrophic starts to happen. If you ignore them and continue on your path with the family member that you have begun a relationship with, this is going to cause the beginning of a psychological, or what's otherwise known as a narcissistic collapse. And this is when things get really desperate. They start to say things like, I'll be going to another state to get a job. They'll start to cause concerns where the parent will think that they're going to lose that enmeshed family member. They'll go passive aggressive on the person that you're with, and distant. With that distance, you'll begin to see a failure in their psychological aptitude and attitude. The malignancy of their mental condition in the enmeshment from the covert emotional incest will not allow them to find their way out. They want control of the person that you're with, full control, and they'll manipulate and even become ill and sick to make sure that they get that control back. They'll harass, torment, they'll cause anguish, sickness. They won't give in. They'll lie, cheat, steal, try and destroy, sabotage. And they know all the tricks in the book because they know the person that you're with. I've heard them say that I'm going to the other side of the country. There was a lady come in at work. They've offered me a job, and you're thinking to yourself, well, that's perfect. That's exactly what you want. That's going to be ideal. Lots of money, blah, blah, blah. And you can see the parent, because I was with the parent, you can see the parent sort of countenance drop as if to say, oh my God, you're going to leave me? And then so you know that they've been groomed. These adult males are being groomed to be dependent on the mother. I've seen them come in after work and have to have a therapy session with the mother, and it's all crap. The next thing, they're drugging up and drinking up and all the rest of it. They're kidding themselves because they try and make little psychological therapy centres and medical centres inside their homes. And I've said before, the only thing I haven't seen them do is pull teeth or physically operate on each other. They think they've got everything else under control, and they think they're managing people's threats of suicide and all this rubbish, instead of ringing the authorities or getting professional help. And so they remain latent and stuck within these elements of control, because if they think they're going to go out of those controlling matters, they think that the person actually could commit suicide, and they probably will feign it. I've heard stories of it. They've tried to gas themselves in the car. They've jumped off the side of cliffs but haven't fully died, and they're trying to blame everybody else. But it's all attention seeking. Most of it's been attention seeking. They haven't been getting what they've wanted. They haven't had the control over the person that they've wanted. You'll see this when somebody breaks up with a partner and the partner just can't take it. They'll go and self-harm and put on acts and over-text and try and ring and harass. And there's nothing new under the sun. But triangulation's a whole animal within itself. It's a living animal that can't die because the enmeshment will not go away. It's the problem for you, but it's the answer for the people that are in it. I've always said that. It's the problem for the person outside the family and for the person that you're connected to, but it's also the solution for the person that you're connected to, because while you're strangulating under the triangulation, their attitude is, well, I'll just fall back into the enmeshment with my children. The children are the modern day assassins of relationships, whether it be active or passive, because the parent will rescind or recline or return back to the enmeshment and count their losses, which makes you ultimately just a convenience. You're a convenience because the covert emotional incest cannot accommodate sex. Because then it goes, see, covert emotional incest is a sexless, intimate relationship between family members. They need an outsider to provide sex, and then they return back to their intimate and meshed relationship. You're just a physical convenience. That's all you are, and that's all you'll ever be, because the enmeshment is too strong. The enmeshment is where their true intimacy resides. You're just a tag on. You're just an extra. And when you start to play up and you start to identify what's going on between these family members, you might get an initial attempt to try and fix things up, but ultimately it's not going to improve. It's just going to deteriorate like any other narcissistic problem of this caliber. So you have to accept you're just a figment of convenience. Whatever your convenience is on the positive, you will be able to stay in that relationship. But as soon as you start to disintegrate in performance or you're not suiting, they'll just start to gravitate back to the emotional incest, because that's the perfect form of supply. It's an infallible form of supply, because it's via DNA. These people are usually living together in some way or another. They're housing together. You're usually left on the outside. This is where you'll start to arc up. And in the end, you'll see, I guarantee you, in the end these people will end up together and you'll be the reason for the problem, because the covert emotional incest and all the enmeshments and trouble that comes with that ain't the problem. It's the people from the outside that will be the problem, even if you're not. You can be accommodating the person that you're with miraculously in ways in which they've never seen before and will never have again. But you will still be the problem, because the thing that holds the most value is the covert emotional incestual relationship. It just has that bind on these people's minds. That's where their security, identity, and future lies. They groom each other to remain together. They don't individualize and separate. The hose, the spiritual hose, the emotional connection, spiritual umbilical cord is never broken. The extra-maternal bond outweighs any other relationship that comes along. Covert emotional incest always wins.